Okay, if your rear view mirror looks like this because you ran into a tree, I'm gonna have to do something about that. So I tried this before by simply taking this off. So simply taking that off. Where's the tree? The tree is right up in there. Things are a pain in the butt. See that tree? Wow. This one hadn't been off here. The other one's been off here plenty of times. Jeez. Usually you can just yank these right out. There's the tree. Pulls out of that. But I was able to get the nuts off it. The foam is coming apart. That comes out. And you can get access to the screws in there, and I thought, well, I can just pull this out. I've seen a video where they show you just pull this thing out of here, but apparently it's pinned in there. So don't be fooled by that. That's nothing. So you got to pull these screws. Basically, there's a video I have in there about taking this panel off. But these two screws that hold this thing on are 7mm or 9/32 if you don't have a metric. So I just found that. This thing comes off by reaching a screwdriver or something in here and pushing right there, right there, right there. And that pop off that way. You see what you're doing here is pushing those little tabs in. This part comes off. That stays put. Then I think we're to the point where we pop the door panel off simply by going down here. But this one doesn't come off very often, so it's not as loose. So I'm gonna stick my stick my little brother man screwdriver in there. Maybe. This one's much tighter than my driver's door. Jeez. Alright, I'm gonna have to get something to pry on there. Hold on. Alright, actually I have a plastic tool. Shove it up in there, and you gotta get your fingers in there and pull those trees loose. And when you get it to that point, the door is going to come out and up off of here because it's got a little pinch part. Let's see if I can do it without. But you gotta get all those trees loose. So this one's tight. So normally, now this one, unlike the drivers, it's only going to have a little bit of clips there. So, see if I can not destroy my speaker. Now I'm going to have to disconnect it all because I'm going to have to get inside to see where that harness is. I think that harness is right up in here somewhere. I might be able to reach in there. So I got to pull these connectors down here. And I should be able to get this panel out of the way. Alright, to get this panel out, you basically go up underneath and beat on these things from the inside, push them out. One over there too. This stupid connector here, I'm not impressed. It's got a little thing there. What you got to do is release it. It's got a little tab on it, so this has got to be pried out away from it to get that off of there. This moronic thing here Goes in like that. You got to slide something down in there, a little screwdriver or something. Push that all the way up in there to get it to release that. These people are nuts. All right, all that just to see. I got a feeling I'm gonna have to open this up because that harness goes through here, goes up in here, so I'm gonna have to take this panel loose for a bit, unless I can reach up in there, which I doubt. Are there any holes down here? Does not look like it. Well, there are holes, but there's... I hate doing this. Well, there's enough of a hole. This maybe I'll try to Super 77 it back together. Wow. It's not going to be big enough to... Well, I'm not going to know until I get it. Alright, hold on. Alright, so I'm pulling this thing. See what happens. One thing I forgot to tell you, probably got to put your window up to get it out of the way, but you need to do that with the switch hooked up. So you can, if you get to this point, you can just kind of half plug it in and roll it up, but you got to have the switch hooked up to that for it to work. These are that same, what am I using, 9/32, I think it is. 9/32. This is a 10mm. The little ones around the outside, down here, a couple of places. I'm just going to go as far as I have to, which probably means I'm going to have to take it all the way off. Yeah, imagining I have to take the whole thing off in order to get it out. Just set it off to the side a little bit. Alright, a few more around the outside, and just gonna keep an eye on it so it doesn't drop out of here. Speaker's plugged into the back, and well, we'll see what it takes. This is screwed to the... I've already replaced this, that's why these got screws in them and not rivets. Is that right? Looks like a rivet, but that's attached to that. Yeah, so the screws. Alright, keep going here. Okay, and before you before you take this switch off, or you can just plug it in. Once you get it to this point, you need to put the window actually down. Window down. So that it'll move a little bit, but if I was going to take this window regulator out, the whole thing slides on the track down there. See that down there? Forward or backwards? Oh, I don't really want to do that though. I just want to get at this plug. I'm going to take the mirror loose. Well, you know what? I'm going to try to reach my arm up in here. The plug's right in there. As you can see how short this is. And how am I get that apart? Oh, it's got one of those little dealies again. You gotta get up underneath that. Oh, pain in the butt. Alright, let me see what I can do. By the way, these are 10mm. I gotta reach in here with a wrench. And it's easy enough to reach in there with a socket to get those two. Especially if you put the correct socket on it. Let's see, this one comes out real easy. Right there. Try not to drop your socket, and then the other one's straight on. So I'm gonna put that loose and see what happens. Is I can see that connector, it's right there. This is a pain. Alright, we'll see what happens. Okay, pried that off of there. So far it gets me nowhere. I might have to take this whole door panel off and pull the regulator out of there. Okay, now I've pulled this harness away from here. There's also another stupid plug in the other direction here. So you got to get him back here and pull that out of there, trying to get this thing loose. And I figured I could slide it on the track. I popped the lock from the lock there, pushed it out of its rubber bushing there, so this wasn't attached. Still got this one here. Let me pop that. Give me a little more room. I could actually pop that too, couldn't I? Ooh, let me do that. Pop that out of there. Pop those two loose. That gives me some more room. Got to take this bolt out here. That loosens this track up. And now I'm able to reach up in there. It's not, as you can see, it's not fun. But at least I got a shot at it. This plug has got one of those stupid ass little things, pardon my French, where you're going to have to pry it. It's going to be like that. So I'm going to try to get up there and pry that little top tab out just using my hands to see. And if I can get that open, I'm just going to pull. Hopefully it'll pull enough on it. And then when I put it back in there, hopefully I can just squeeze it back together. This is not fun. So that's what I'm going to do. Now I got this all popped away. Alright. Let's see if I can do that before it gets dark. Alright, so my hand's going up in there. Now I got to push this out a little bit with the other hand. So if you can see that, let's see if I can get up here. See this bracket right here? The edge of that is sharp as a monkey. That's what's tearing me up. So I'm going to go in here with a file. Try to... Oh, look at that. Pull that whole thing down. Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't get me anywhere better. Maybe I can push it up. No, not really, because it's... Anyway, I can pull it down a little bit and get to the edge of that. Aviation, we don't like sharp edges. Oh man, that thing's sharp. Right on the back side of that. I suggest, oh, much better, that you get up in there and do that. Otherwise you're going to look like that. Well, I hadn't anything impossible in a few days, so I put a wedge screwdriver in there to hold it out so I could get at it. It turns out it's hard to look in there, but here's what you're looking at, and that piece comes up over the top of this. I was trying to pry it up from the bottom. So reaching down in here with my light in my teeth, I was able to use my little tool here. Long screwdriver probably work. You basically reach down while pulling on the cable and was able to just twist and pop that sucker, and it just popped loose. So we're free. I just stuck that on there loosely. Okay. Oops. My mirror fell off. Alright. Clear. Now, I gotta slide this up there, put a nut on the top there so it doesn't fall off, and repeat the process in reverse to hook that connector up. This is going to be Lovely. Alright, so I bolted it back up because it ain't coming back off of there. Can't help every time I see this. Think of the scene in Jurassic Park when Jeff Goldblum's character's looking in the mirror and there's a T-Rex chasing him. Alright, now I got this wire down here. Now I have to put it back together. I may have to stick something on the top of that connector. I probably will. Put something down on top of it and push it into the connector at the bottom. We'll see what happens here. Okay, first issue I've run into, I'm putting it in there and this thing is curling. So, before that goes in there, you want to make sure that thing is as straight as possible because it's going to need to go as far down in there as you can. It's going to go in front of, there's a little V right there. It's going to go down between that. You want that to go straight as you can. That needs to be lined up like that, and you'll feel the edge of that lower connector where it's got the little tab thing on there, and you got to make sure it goes up in there in the right direction. Alright, here we go. I gotta tell you, that was painful, no lie, but check this out. Not spectacular, but all 4 positions are moving, sorta. Good enough. Fantastic. Alright, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I managed to reach up there with my bloody hand. Fiddle fart with that connection up here. I was able to use my right hand to get both sides of it. Then I took my little tool, like a long screwdriver, to put it down in between the harness. Thing, but so basically, this is what you're looking at, that part. So I managed to get this down in here like so. Push that while pushing up on the connector at the bottom, and it snapped in. So, ha! See if we can put this thing back together. Okay, while you're in here, I would spray some WD-40 on all your mechanicals for your window, and especially this assembly back here. If you've seen my video on not being able to open your door, that's the mechanism right there. You want to, this should be nice and free, and this you want nice and free. That's everything that causes you all the trouble. So hose that sucker down really good. Alright, I'll put everything back together here. Putting this thing back on is pretty straightforward, except for one thing you need to keep an eye on. There's a little tab hanging over like that this has to go in, otherwise it bangs on there and it won't go in all the way. So now I gotta lift the whole thing back off, drop it down into that little tab, which actually makes it a little easier to hold it. And then I'm spraying WD-40 in all my little rusty screw holes and the screws and up here and everything I can see. And there's making sure all my everything's gonna work except for my electric dealie. Those are stupid amount of money, so I can do it manually. And one more important tip when you're putting this thing back together: plug your window switch in, because this thing will move depending on where you put the window assembly. So it's all attached to this, so it'll pick up or down. I had to go one way or another in order to get this panel up and put it in that lip. Same thing when I was putting it back in there. I made sure to gently put the window up so that thing will align and fit and everything. So that's a biggie. Gently move it up and down to get it to position everything properly. Alright, so I'm putting this back on. I'm going to see if I can find my Super 77 or some spray adhesive and just take a little shot glue that back on there. That goes over here. The only thing you really need to be careful on this is to make sure these little nut plates are over the hole. As I was taking the thing off the last time, I discovered that it wasn't even in the hole there. The screw is just in there, so you want to make sure those line up with the holes. Make sure your little trees are on your panel. This one was in pretty good shape. As you can see, it hadn't been off very much. These things are intact, so this is a good time to clean up the inside of the panel or whatever too. Putting it back on, you're simply gonna hang it over. And you put it up here. Oh yeah, one of those fell off too. So I gotta glue that back in there. So I do need to find my Super 77. Goes in there just like that. Glue that in there. But the panel, something you gotta put the window down a lot of times, is what you're gonna have to do. It's this lip right here. Can you see? Where am I? So what you gotta do is peel this, lean it back. Essentially, you have to hang that over that lip right there. So in order to do that, the door panel basically gets tilted out. So you kind of push the door in there. I might be able to do it with the window in there. You push onto that so that that lip goes over into here. And then it sinks down in there and makes a nice tight seal with this seal to seal the window up. Then, oh yeah, if you have your light bulb, you can hook this thing up. I think mine's in there. I can hear it rattling. And then of course you hook your wires back up when you put your dealie back in there, and that's for the oh, it's for the front speaker, that little tiny speaker. That wire goes to that. I will go over that here in just a minute. Let me let's see if I can find my spray glue and glue this thing back on there real quick. Alright, so what I ended up doing is tipping it up like that, putting this corner in and then laying it down across there. That worked out. As you come down, you'll see it'll line up with the Christmas trees, will line up with the holes. And then you can pop it in there, but you want to get your wires before you get too crazy. So you can hook that up. Indeed. Alright, there's your configuration for your wires. You got the little green clip that goes up in that hole for your speaker. Those two go in there. Should probably try them out. Yeah. Door lock in my case doesn't work on my side, so here it works on the other side. Yeah, and this just slides into these slots. Oh, okay. So it's got a little thing at the end that goes up under there first, and then it goes in the slots and little clippy things. Like so. And then this little guy goes up there. Supposed to go under there. Dang it, hold on. Okay, let's try that again. So those go up inside, and then you gotta push the little tree in the hole. Like so. This goes there. And that's it, baby. I just gotta clean up my mirrors, put on my little spots. I didn't even bother hooking this up. I forgot to show you that the bulb actually hooks into the connector, and then the connector fits into this, but my bulbs burn out and I don't care anyway, so I don't even worry about them. So there you go. I got a mirror. Just got to put a spot on it. Where's that? Over there. Just kidding. Don't forget to put those two little guys in there. And once you tighten those up, then you'll be done, I think. Alright, so after getting done with all this nonsense, it occurred to me, because these mirrors will stay in position wherever you push them, an easier way to do this, if you still want to get your power mirror hooked up, simply take the stuff out of here so you can get the 3 nuts, pull the mirror off there, simply cut the harness up here, and that bottom one will fall down and you can get the part from the mirror off. You still got to pull all that stuff out of there. If you don't care about that, you really don't care about the power mirror and all the work that it takes to get in there, you can do a couple of things. One, you can get a non-powered mirror if they make one. I'm not even sure they make one. But simply replace the mirror, just stick your wire harness in there. Don't worry about hooking it up. Just bolt the sucker up and you're good to go. How often do you change the position of this mirror anyway? And these things will stay, mostly. This side I haven't any problem with. Wherever you put them, and they'll just click around. I'll show you on the other side. Or the option to that, even better, if you just have a cracked mirror, you just want to get it so you got a better mirror on there. On this side, they actually make, you can see this piece of glass. Auto parts stores carry that. I think it's got double-sided tape or something. This has been on there since, I don't know, 09 or something. You simply glue that over. My mirror that behind this is all cracked to pieces. So you can simply just glue one on here. And I said this one, they move around. This one's kind of worn out. When I shut the door, it has a tendency to pop the mirror in. So I either use the electric motor or I just simply push it out like that. I said the other one, since it doesn't get used that much, seems to hold pretty well. But of course it works now anyway. So if you're trying to just get your mirror back going and you don't really want to spend all that time on there, you might want to just do that. Cut the harness at the top, swap that mirror over, no problem. You'd be done in 15 minutes. Time to have a beer.